What is going on, my fellow Halo fans? Your boy Patman here with another video detailing the Halo Infinite blog post that they made in January of 2021. This one is going to be detailing how 343 is going to be approaching player feedback and transparency when it comes to Halo Infinite. Now, for all you snarky suckers out there who give 343 a lot of hate for their lack of transparency, you don't like the way they develop their games, how they take into consideration player feedback. Yes, some of that has been justified over the years, but I honestly feel the last few years for Halo have been great for 343 and getting closer with their community. Now, I'll talk about that more later in the video towards the end and give you guys my opinion. So if you guys want to go on ahead and have a discussion about that in the comments after listening to what I had to say there at the end of the video, let's go on ahead and do that. But let's get right into the topic for today. Now, when the Sandbox team who was interviewed for this blog post was asked how they will take player feedback into consideration for Halo Infinite, their response was this: so when the free-to-play multiplayer shifts towards a true service and when it goes live, it's more critical than ever that they drive continued feedback loops to ensure they are prioritizing the right work and continually improving the experience. Player feedback via community input and additional vectors like user research studies that they send out serves as their North Star that they will evaluate alongside the game telemetry data and their team's instincts to inform a specific outcome. Now, 343 acknowledges they won't always get it right. It's literally impossible. All the different kinds of feedback 343 gets, all the different kinds of playstyles, the different kinds of players who like different things, it is literally impossible to please everybody, especially with a community as big as the Halo community. But they are committing to this. They're going to operate with transparency to acknowledge issues and, most importantly, explain the why behind their decisions. With Halo Infinite, the investment they have made to their tools allows them to be more responsive to balance issues and opportunities, and they're also going to be committed to keeping the game fresh via meta shifts, new weapons and vehicles, etc., even equipment. Halo Infinite truly is unlike any Halo before it when it comes to their support and commitment to the game and their players, they said. Even right now, 343's Sandbox team is working on balancing, seeking feedback, and communicating the changes to their team. To provide a glimpse into how they're doing that right now, the Sandbox team sends out monthly patch notes to the studio that detail all the meta changes and new features that came online in the month prior. The studio right now is their player base, obviously. They're treating the internal 343 team the same way they will treat the community, with honesty, respect, and integrity. They are leveraging user research, daily campaign multiplayer playtests, the 343 Pro team of course, and additional external playtests in conjunction with designer feedback to inform changes and adjustments. This will not change once the game goes live, just the scale of the data obviously will go drastically up, which they're super excited for, they said. And it's also worth mentioning that flighting comes up a lot in this blog post, so flighting is going to be key to fine-tuning Halo Infinite for launch, and obviously post-launch, once the game comes out, we'll be giving feedback in that way too. They might even flight certain features before they release them to the public like they've done with MCC. So stay tuned to the channel. I'll do a video eventually on how to get into the flighting process. And 343 also mentions equipment and how they're balancing that on both a competitive pro level and for more social players. They said equipment must be effective and empowering across all skill levels while also being competitively viable. Now, in terms of weapon balancing, they said they look at data and feedback from every source that they can find. They then look at the weapon's intended role that they have for it and its function, which I detailed in one of the previous Halo Infinite videos. Go check out the previous two videos I've done, guys. They're really detailed. From there, they decide what the best changes are for the weapon or if it's behaving as intended. They then test the changes internally, push them live if they like them, and they like to get tuning changes out as frequently as possible when the game is live. The meta in any multiplayer game is constantly evolving, and they want to be able to react along with the evolution of the game and its playstyles. Now, I thought what the lead vehicle designer had to say was really interesting. They said for them, the first part of feedback is to fully understand the problem. A lot of feedback comes in very raw and honest, obviously from the Halo community. When getting that feedback, it's nice to be present to dig into the root cause of the frustration. For example, somebody just says, the mongoose sucks because it's too slow. That could be a lot of different things. Is the acceleration too slow? Does it lose too much momentum when turning? Is its top speed too slow? Does it lose too much momentum when landing? Or does it even have too wide of a turn radius? They said once they understand what the people are really asking for, they measure that against the design goals that they have for that vehicle. If they're getting feedback that shows they're not meeting the goals that they had set out, then they begin to work on a patch. This patch is put into multiple internal flights, starting with the Sandbox shelf playtest, where Sandbox designers test work they haven't even committed to in the main build. If the Sandbox team gives the thumbs up, then they submit the changes and begin collecting feedback from the motor pool or the vehicle team. Also to the campaign and multiplayer teams in their frequent playtests. During this time, they make sure to ping people in the studio who have a lot of interest or opinions on Halo vehicles to get their perspective, and after all of that, they work with their user research and community teams and eventually public flighting once that gets going to make sure that these changes address relevant feedback. Now, the leader of the Sandbox team had a closing statement. He said that they will do everything in their power to nurture the player-Sandbox relationship by being honest in all of their communication. There will be times when they have to make trade-offs for the greater good and can't address every request from every specific subgroup of players, but they'll always close the loop and share their reasoning, even when it's an outcome some may disagree with. They will exhibit integrity when it comes to their actions. They will finish what they set out to do. If and when they make mistakes, they will be truthful with their players and rectify that mistake decisively, no matter what. They've always felt this way, but with Halo Infinite being built as a game that will grow and evolve over time, partnering with their community to help inform their priorities and opportunities is more critical than it's ever been in the series. This year is going to be an exciting one for all of us, of course, as Halo fans, and the launch of the game is only the beginning. This game is going to be evolving drastically over time, guys. Remember, Halo Infinite is supposed to be a platform for like the next 10 years of Halo, much like MCC has been a platform for Halo and all this new content being added. I think Infinite's going to be on a much greater scale, and 343 has already proven that they can do post-launch support successfully. Halo 5 had tremendous post-launch support. It was just lacking in the launch department of the game. So hopefully Infinite comes with a great launch full of content, and then we get these high level updates over time, because that excites me as a content creator and as a Halo fan. I'm going to be busy trying to balance making content for you guys and playing the crap out of this game, which brings me to my closing thoughts. So for those who say that 343 sucks and they aren't transparent, I get it. Okay, they haven't really been transparent with Halo Infinite, but it looks like that's changing. They've already acknowledged that they haven't been transparent. They've admitted they've been wrong with that. But if MCC and even Halo Outpost Discovery, I learned a lot about 343 and how they're approaching player feedback. I saw it firsthand going to the first Outpost Discovery, having a really disappointing experience, then having two members of 343, John Friend and Jeff Easterling, on to ask them how they're going to change based on the fans' feedback for Outpost Discovery, and I saw it firsthand. I went to the next event, and a lot of the complaints I had about Outpost Discovery they were already working on, and it was a much better experience that time around. And it's been obvious with MCC the last 3 years. Going back and fixing that game that was broken as hell, which takes a lot of balls in my opinion, because that game was obviously too big of an undertaking for 343. They messed up with that. They could have admitted, hey, we were in over our heads, we're sorry, this won't happen again. But no, they stuck with it. They fixed it for the most part. I know a lot of people still have problems with like CE's look and certain graphical things. I don't pay attention to a lot of those minute details that a lot of the hardcore fans, I consider myself a hardcore fan, but not at that kind of level. The game is playable and I could have fun on it again. That is great. Then they added reach. People wanted reach, they added reach to MCC. People wanted this game on PC. That's a huge undertaking. All right, community wants that, let's do it. Like, there has been so much, and now we're getting all this new content, cut content from the games, brand new content to the old games, new features. Like, it has just been great seeing what they've been doing with MCC, and I have full faith that they will do that with Halo Infinite. Now, if you guys can't admit that and you can't see that they've been doing a great job with player feedback and the community's feedback with MCC, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you're still watching Halo Infinite videos, because you haven't been a fan of 343 since they've taken over. It's been almost 10 years now. I think it's time to move on, okay? Like, if I don't like something, I'm not watching videos on it. If I don't like the way a game's developed, I'm not watching videos, especially for 10 years. Maybe if you didn't like one of the Halo games that they've done, and then you liked Halo 5, because I love Halo 5's multiplayer, then maybe you could come back and have a little bit of faith. But if you don't like anything 343 does, I don't know why you're still here, but I digress. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to catch you in either a previous video of mine or a future video of mine. Until that time comes, I'm your boy Patman, and I'm out.